December sale, 25% off on all audio courses, bundles of courses, and human design coaching one-on-one sessions. The code is December25. Use it on icreatelines.com. Peace, health, and abundance.
How it comes. So we are electromagnetic, right? So our aura field, our energy field is electromagnetic. And like the word electromagnetic has the word magnetic. So it's magnets. And these things are also electromagnetic, also magnets. So pulling. So there's something intangible, or not intangible, but it is, let's say, invisible, but you can feel it. You can't see gravity, but you can feel gravity. And then let's say this energy field is electromagnetic, and our essence, our soul, our light, our consciousness that moves the body is electromagnetic. When we are in certain environments that have a lot of these, you're going to feel disoriented. Why are you going to feel disoriented? Because your inner magnet, your inner compass is being pulled in all directions from an artificial source of electromagnetism. And you got dolphins, you got birds, you got dogs, you got all kinds of animals in the wild that go places based on navigating the electromagnetic field of the earth, the Schumann resonance, the gravity field of Gaia. And when we're in cities, when we're in closed off spaces, when we're next to these devices, our entire inner guidance system, our main magnet, is being pulled towards fake targets. And in a way, it's siphoning the light. It's pulling in the light. That's why, like, anytime you're on the PC or on your phone or engaging in mental conversation with somebody, your main magnet is here. So you have the chakras, you have the centers in human design. So this is a magnet, your heart is a magnet, your gut is a magnet. If your gut is full of heavy metals, if your gut is full of parasites, that's gonna be a pull towards certain things. And then, because we are creatures of imitation, because we learn everything through imitation since we're children, when we're kids, we learn by observation. We have no idea what our emotional energy field even is. We're just going into these waters slowly through human design, through stuff, through fascia, through emotional releases, through biofield, tuning forks, all these good things. And because nobody taught us that that's what's pulling us through life, it's almost like through the devices and through the artificial environment, we are taught to be this. We are taught to, it's like we are trained, our energy field is trained to mimic devices and not other humans, because our parents, the whole field is messed up. Everyone's field in all society is messed up. Everyone is already mimicking devices in all kinds of ways. And then you go around and all interactions are like you're trying to have a connection that is based on artificial magnetism. And true magnetism is like attraction based on heart resonance and like ancestral divine flames or whatever it is. And even if we look at rejection, even if we look at like attraction and repulsion, these are all magnetic aspects. Two magnets either attract or they repel each other. So everything that we take personally in our interrelationships is just based on electricity, which is charge. Are you charged up? Is there friction? Is there, when you take two magnets that are opposing and you try to get them to come together, they're gonna fight. The force is gonna repel. But when you do it, the more you go closer, the more friction happens. And this friction in society is what is sold as chemistry between people. We are attracted to each other. Where there is sparks, there is fire. Where there is tension, there's something going on. It might not be. It might be that this person just came home, didn't discharge. This person was at a bar. They picked up all this emotional charge from another person. And in the moment, they got charged up, went home, made a baby. 50 years later, their life is shit. Because at that moment, they were charged up. The magnets were polarized differently than they usually would have been. And they spun off their entire life based on that. Or the man is walking around with like 50 pounds of meat and potatoes and pasta in his colon. That creates tension on the prostate. He goes around with an erect penis all the time just because of that junk in the colon, and that creates a child. And that creates the tension that he needs to release the charge. And then he makes a child instead of going to the toilet. How big of a oh my god, how different the life would be if you just went and took a shit or an enema instead of going and making the child because you needed to release this charge, this ejaculation out. And then all trauma, like children. Like you come to your mom or dad and they're full of charge. They're magnetized differently than they would have been. And you come to them and you want some charge from them, but they're depleted, and then they push you away, and then you're a child, you don't know what the hell is going on. And then 50 years later, you're this adult going around with an inward pull all the time. You become an adult who is programmed to be a black hole, sucking, never emanating energy, always trying to pull in energy. And you become an unconscious energy vampire. Wherever you go, you want to give, but you can't give because your entire magnetic polarity is programmed to always be inward, to always be I don't have, feed. And that's the main point of charging and like discharging energy. That's why gravity and shaking is so good, because it's literally dumping it out. Because gravity, you jump, there's a pull, you push down, there's a push off. And when we don't use gravity, we feel ungrounded. Whenever you lay down on the floor, that's why I'm advocating for sleeping on the floor. Because you feel the gravity, you feel your bones, you feel the heaviness, you feel the push down, that you are here, that something is supporting you. When we sleep on very comfortable surfaces, you don't get the feeling, you always have the feeling of slightly floating. However, comfortably or uncomfortably you're settled in, it's a cloud. It's a soft cloud where your bones are floating. And when bones are floating, it's not connected. And bones are also piezoelectric. Bones are not structure as much as fascia is structure. So fascia is the real structure of the body, not the bones. Bones are like storages for minerals in the body. They're storages for marrow, for stem cells. That's why like these things that we sometimes do for the bones, that's why martial artists smack and harden their bones, because bone density is a huge thing in like when in maturity of the body and physical endurance and so many things. And they're also like magnetic inside. As a survival instinct, we modulate our own frequency to fit in, even to unhealthy places we don't belong. That's the first line in you, David. That's the first line in you. I have that as well. The chameleon. It's the sense of security that, easily can blend in to be okay, to be safe. I have that as well. Yeah. And yes, if we are around like artificial magnets, we're gonna start acting like it because we're human. We want to be in harmony with things. And if there are 10 people in good vibes, positive vibes, and joy, we're gonna harmonize with them. We're gonna go into joy like that. If there's 10 people all polarized, their magnets going inwards, sucking each other's energy, we're gonna go into harmony with them just because we're around. Just because 10 to 1 is a huge or a city. Like I consider myself a person that can really feel these pulls and pushes. Today I've walked for 3 hours in the city, and now that I came home, all of this is kind of like I felt it. I felt the bubbles. For the first time ever, I realized what is this little twitch that I have. And that's actually me stepping in or stepping out of an energy field of another person. I always had this, like twitch. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was for my entire life. I didn't know what it was. And today I figured it out. It is the point of entering another's field or exiting another's field. Because if 70% of people are generators, meaning that the field is a bubble. I'm a projector. My field is like a scanner. My field is like tentacles. It's different. Manifestors are like this. Manifestors are always pushing. They like you, they're pushing. That doesn't matter. And reflectors are Teflon. Reflectors are mirrors. So not pushing, but also kind of neutral. But yeah, it's very weird, very different. And then I figured it out. I figured out that today, and then let's say you're coming into an aura field, and that aura field is either going to be pushing out or pulling in. So it's going to be abundance, and it could be abundance of frustration. It's abundance. It's just going out. It's emanating, or it is pulling in. So some sort of lack, need, or just inward pull. Doesn't matter. Let's say projectors, we have an inward pull because we are absorbing energy, and that could be very weird for people thinking that we are needy and we can just be curious. So yeah, and then the third one is neutral. So another neutral to consider. And I felt for the last few years that I can't stand, and almost both extremes are not good for me. I can't process them. The only thing that I can process is neutral, meaning that when I come close to a person, when I feel the twitch, I don't feel the push or the pull. So it's nothing. That's how I judge. That's how my body senses who is good for me, healthy for me, or unhealthy for me. Because people can't gauge the push or the pull. They just can't. It's just extremes. And some people will flip between one or the other in half a second. Like, for example, women in their 50s, they're walking towards me, they are pulling because of fear. They're pulling because of fear, like looking at me, please don't be dangerous, please. And I'm feeling the pull, literal gravitational pull. Like my body is swaying in their direction, and I'm like, what the hell? No, go straight. And if at that moment I choose to give some sort of bodily signal of reassurance, they flip from pulling to pushing all the sexual frustration out, and then suddenly when they feel that it's safe to be around me, suddenly it's take everything now. Take all the pushing that I've accumulated all my entire life. There you go. And then I'm like, what the hell? So people can't gauge the pushes and pulls. That's why the neutral, to go back to the original point, which was the feeling of coming into another person's aura. is that I feel that it's almost like it's like wind. It's like wind that blows and then stops blowing. Like, very windy, and you have to lean forward to get through it, and then it stops blowing, and then it's kind of like it's like water and air. It's plasma. That's why it's aura. It's something that you feel on a subtle level, but it doesn't prevent you from walking. It's like a film. It's like a filter, like a screen door, an invisible screen door. And then it feels like a twitch. And then the twitch is either like, let's say I'm walking and there's a person. And I'm walking, and when I come close to them, the person is neutral. They don't, like 99% of people don't sense these things. And I'm walking behind the person, and I'm just gonna cross them right here. They're gonna see me with their peripheral vision in 5 seconds. And at the point when they see me, of course everybody's afraid for a second at least. At that moment, the entire field switches to either pulling because who are you, save me, or pushing, get away from me. And in that second, I feel the twitch, and suddenly the gravitational pull, the magnetic pulse, is either a pull or a pulse. And then if it's a push away, then of course I immediately go away. And if it's a pull, I go away. Like I go away in either, because it's an extreme, because it's either intense fear of people or intense get away from me. In both cases, I don't want to be there. And then when I exit the field, and 70% of fields are generators, meaning bubbles, literal bubbles, fireplaces, I can feel the edge of the field, because inside of the bubble, I'm being pushed. Outside of the bubble is the rest of the world. Nobody's pushing me, nobody's pulling me. And then imagine somebody pushing you, and then they stop pushing you, and then there's this recoil where you regain, okay, somebody has been pushing me, and now I have regained my own gravitational center. Or somebody has been pulling you, and you're kind of like walking, it's like coming into a very dense field of somebody. You're gonna slow down, it's gonna make you sluggish. Your movements are gonna be like there's 50 judges watching you. And you're gonna be like, oh, I can literally feel that walking down the street, that suddenly my legs are heavier. Suddenly like my pelvis is being like, oh, and then I'm like, okay, so I've just entered somebody's field who's doing this. Or I'm gonna walk and suddenly I'm gonna be pushed. So there's somebody behind me, probably looking at me like this and being like, and then I'm like, okay. So then you exit the field, and at the moment you exit the field, it's like you've been unchained. And then suddenly it's, okay, there's this twitch. So for the longest time, I could not put my finger on it. What is this feeling? And I used to burden myself so much. Like, I walk into a store, I buy something, the cashier, we say goodbye, and I'm walking away. And as I'm walking away, I get the twitch. And I'm like, what is this? This feels horrible. What did I do wrong? I paid enough. I said thank you. I smiled. There's nothing. Even the person smiled back. Even it was a normal, kind interaction. Even if the person was kind, even if there was nothing out of the ordinary. But when I was exiting, just removing myself from their field, because of the different polarities, or because they're a generator who is frustrated all day at the cashier, just brimming with pushing. The moment I'm stepping out of their aura, I feel this twitch, and I'm thinking like, what is this? What did I do wrong? And then I turn around, and who's looking at me? What? And nobody's doing nothing. And now I'm walking around like this for half an hour, going like, what could I have done better? What was this? How can I master this? This has been such For so long, this has been a thorn, literally in the back of my head, literally here. Because when it happens, I go like this, and I'm like, what? What more could I have done to prevent this? And there's no preventing this. There's no preventing this. I can feel it, and I just have to manage it. I have to learn to gauge how I'm gonna. Magnets. All right, this is not gonna be a post on anywhere. This is gonna be. I'm gonna have to look back at this recording and like make notes from this. So it's an amazing thing that Insight Timer provides recordings of lives, because now I can take all of this and write it down. I was gonna write it down as I was talking on my phone, but no, this is better. And there's literally a G center, a gravity center in human design, which is about love and direction. And I've been starting to feel this intensely in people. When they come into a store and they're looking for something, they have a craving. They're looking for something. And they're here, I'm here. And their chips that they want is behind me. And they're looking around, where's the chips? If I'm in the field of vision, that they're scanning for the chips, I'm gonna be like, I'm literally gonna feel displaced because the people are looking for direction. They're in lack mode, and their whole soul is scanning, where is it? And then they scan across, and it's like, okay, cookies, soda, I create lines, chips. In that moment when they're crossing, they're at like their gravity, which is gravitating toward, we gravitate towards things, towards the chips. I'm gonna feel the pull. When people orient, and I realize that I have the same effect on others. If I walk into a store and I'm like looking at where are the things that I need, and if I have a thought or an intention to ask one of the people, what did you say from lack? What do you mean, Yvonne, from lack? What specifically? If I have a thought or an intention to ask one of the people working there to help me out, without asking them, if I just start looking around, where is one of them? Other people who are not working there start turning around. They start going like, what? They start being disoriented, because I'm walking around and my sense of direction and my gravitational pull is looking for a specific person, looking for something. And that's actually force. That's actually something that's tangible, that moves people around. So yeah, you said that when they're coming into your field, you feel that they're coming from lack. Yeah, you can feel the pull. You can feel the void. I can feel the void in a person. If they're craving things, if they're very sad, that they're like, if their self-worth is low, that's because I have the G center and heart center open in human design, meaning that I can very, very good sense what are people craving, desiring, what is their gravitational center, what is my gravitational center, the pushing and pulling, the magnetism. So yeah, all cravings are lack. And yeah.
Peace, health, and abundance. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, ask a question, or share your story. Check out my audio courses: Human Design Basics, Intermediate and Advanced, Human Design Projector Masterclass, and Elemental Balancing course. You can listen to the first lesson of each course for free. Once purchased, stream as much as you like and learn at your own pace. Check out the testimonials from happy students. Join the League of Wanderers community. You can join on the weekly community and support calls. You can book one-on-one personal human design reading and coaching calls with me. You can join us on the Insight Timer app for stress release movement classes and Q&A sessions. There is a newsletter you can sign up for, and there are my free ebooks to download. My merch web shop is available if you would like to get my original artwork and designs printed on a variety of high-quality products. You can also contact me for commissions and graphic design work. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram. All the mentioned services and offerings can be found on icreatelines.com, and also check out the description of the video for more details. If you have any questions of any kind, if you would like to collaborate, if you want to come on a podcast, or you have suggestions and feedback, don't hesitate to contact me. I wish everyone peace, health, and abundance.